We all should be asking, why is this happening? Who is behind this? Let's start by following the money trail. For starters, there is a revolving door where people in the government regulating vaccines then go to work for vaccine makers, and vice versa. People who work for the vaccine makers then go to work for the government regulating vaccines.
So it works kind of like the finance industry, where one day you're Timothy Geithner, chairman of the New York Federal Reserve Bank, and then the next day President Obama appoints you as Treasury Secretary for America.
Right. The vaccine industry works about like that.
Well, it's interesting that Jen asks who is behind the H1N1 story, because actually, who is behind it? And I'm talking, of course, about the World Health Organization. World Health Organization? Who came up with the idea to have a World Health Organization? Did the people of the world decide we needed to have a World Health Organization? No. The World Health Organization is a spin-off of the United Nations. The United Nations? Whose idea was that? Did the people of the world decide to organize a United Nations? No. The United Nations was the brainchild of elite international banksters who wanted to use it as a tool to bring on a world bank, which they, of course, would control. We are talking about really old money, folks. The Rothschilds of Europe, the Rockefellers of America. The United Nations was built on land donated by the Rockefellers. It was the Rockefeller Foundation that got the World Health Organization going. So when the World Health Organization tells us that there's a very scary swine flu going around and that we all need to take a vaccine, the first question I'm going to ask is, what's in it for the Rothschilds and Rockefellers? Novartis, one of the big H1N1 vaccine makers, was formed in the mid-1990s by merging two Rothschild-Rockefeller companies together. Shortly after that, they signed a lease for 160,000 square feet at the Rockefeller Group Corporate Park. In 2009, Novartis was awarded $486 million by the U.S. government to produce vaccines.
David Rockefeller and Rupert Murdoch co-chair the Partnership for New York City, which is involved in vaccine research and development. Between the two of them, they control much of the mass media in America.
Folks, we just want you to have all the facts before you make your decision about whether or not the H1N1 vaccinations are the right choice for you or your family. All we've done is connect the dots that any real media would do that was operating with a public interest in mind.
If you are watching or reading other news sources that mention H1N1 day after day after day without ever mentioning the warnings it gives right in the H1N1 package insert, then you might want to ask yourself, whose interests are those news outlets serving? The next time you're watching Brian Williams broadcasting from the NBC studios at Rockefeller Plaza, ask yourself, is this really news I'm watching, or is this propaganda?